Wizard 101 came out in 2008, so why are people still playing it in 2026? Is it actually a hidden gem that a lot of people just don't know about, or is it just a game people refuse to let go of? If you've been thinking about trying Wizard 101 or coming back to it, this is a real breakdown of whether or not it's worth your time in 2026. No nostalgia bias, just facts. First things first, the game is not that dead. Wizard 101 still has thousands of active players, and with recent updates and console expansion, new players are still coming in, especially every so often when they do free months on times you don't have to pay. You'll still find people questing, hanging out in the commons, and doing dungeons. So if your biggest concern is, am I going to have someone to play with or am I going to be alone? The answer is no. You'll always find someone doing dungeons or doing events or things that you might be doing, especially just trying to make the right pet or something like that. So you can just ask yourself, what makes it worth playing? 1. The unique combat system. Wizard 101 isn't like most MMOs. It uses a turn-based card-style combat system where you build a deck, stack buffs, and plan attacks. It starts simple, but later on it actually requires strategy and you have to think of every move you make. That alone makes it stand out even today, and especially on a kid's game. It has a unique combat style, which is what I really like about the game as well. And the animations are fire too, don't even get me started on that. Number 2, it's a chill, low-stress gameplay, especially at the start. Not every game needs to be competitive. Wizard 101 is just something you can sit back and play at your own pace. There's no pressure, there's no sweating, just progression. You move on whenever you want. Number 3, the nostalgia factor. Let's be honest, a huge part of this game's player base came from childhood, and that nostalgic connection keeps people coming back. Even if you're new, you can still feel that vibe in the game as soon as you start it or while you're playing. I'm not saying this is one of the biggest factors of why the game is still the way it is or being played the way it is. I just think that it having such a big nostalgia factor confirms that it was just such a big game back then, and even now, it still is a pretty big game. At least enough for people to feel nostalgic about it. Number 4, it's still being updated. This isn't really an abandoned game where the devs just stopped updating it or adding things. It still gets updates and balance changes and even improvements to older content. For a game this old, that's actually impressive. They're obviously doing something right if they have enough money to just keep pushing the game forward and forward, especially with the graphics it has too. Come on, man. All right, what I'm going to get into right now is obviously the game is not for everybody. So I'm going to get into a section explaining why maybe it's not for everybody. All right, number 1, the paywall. Let's not sugarcoat it. Wizard 101 is technically free, but only for a short time, only for the first world. If you want to fully experience the game, you'll need a membership or spend money. And for a lot of people, that's a deal breaker, which is totally understandable. They do sometimes do one free month that has it open to all the worlds and everything else, so you could play the full game. But sometimes that's just a major deal breaker, and that's fine. Number 2, some people just can't wrap their head around the game feeling old and the graphics it has, which is okay. With all the graphics that are coming out of new games, I can get why the game feels a little weird to play. The game came out in 2008, and well, like I said, you can really tell during the graphics and animations, and some systems feel outdated compared to modern games, which is totally understandable. We've come a long way. One thing that was a deal breaker for me at one point was a repetitive grind. A lot of the gameplay is loop. Defeat enemies, collect items, move on, repeat. If you don't enjoy grinding, you'll probably get bored. But once you start unlocking the cool animations and the higher hitting cards, and once you start getting into those dungeons or missions where you need people to join you, the game is so much funner, trust me. Although, talking about when you need people that are going to join you, it's not a huge player base. While it's still active, it's not that huge. This isn't one of the top MMOs dominating the market right now, so don't expect it to feel super populated everywhere you go. So that might be one of the deal breakers for somebody. You might have to wait like a minute or two to find someone, but you could always just go to the summons and ask. Everybody there is super cool. That's one thing that I liked about Wizard 101. Whenever I needed help hatching an egg or hatching a pet, or even help with a mission or a dungeon or anything that I needed, I obviously had friends that played it with me, but also the random people that I would just run into were super cool and chill. It's almost like they know that the game is pretty old and there's always new players, or sometimes there's just retired players that come back and try to defeat that one dungeon or mission that they need. So they're really helpful. So the final verdict to the question of, is Wizard 101 worth playing in 2026? Yes, I think it is. Even if you are watching this video and think to yourself, maybe it's not for me, Just give it a go. Give it one try, at least for 10 minutes, 20 minutes max. If you like chill games, strategy combat, and don't mind spending a little money, you'll probably enjoy it. But if you want a modern, fast-paced, highly competitive, this probably isn't for you. But hey, at the end of the day, whether you play Wizard 101 or not, it's totally up to you. Don't let nobody force you. Just play whatever you like or whatever you enjoy. But Wizard 101 is one of those games that's still around for a reason. It's not perfect, but it's still got something special, and it keeps getting updated. And there's a lot of good stuff that they come out with as well. Let me know what you think. Is Wizard 101 still worth playing? And if you want more videos like this, drop a like and subscribe. Later. Peace.